Hey everybody, Kelly's with Cleopatra Art Studios, and we're gonna make a really cute little charcuterie board. Dang, that's hard to say. Let's get started. So first off, you don't have to stain your wood with stains, hello. Instead, what you can do is just water down some paint. And I'm going to water down some brown, but I'm gonna lighten it up a little bit. So I don't know about you guys, but when it's hot out, charcuterie boards are kind of, and it took me forever to be able to say that, it's kind of where it's all about here at the Robinson household. In fact, Mr. John brought me one last night. So this doesn't look very big, but it is 11 by 14 and it's plenty. I bought him one. I got on Etsy and I got all fancy for Father's Day or a birthday, I can't remember. And I bought him one. It takes $300 to fill it up. It's like this big. And I don't know about you and me, but when I eat charcuterie board food, I'm not that full. So if you're gonna spend that much on a charcuterie board spread, you know, you're the Rockefellers. You're not us. This is not where we're spending our money. So I'm just gonna use this watered down, darker brown that I'm lightening just a little bit and putting some red highlights in, some sienna. But I think this would be really beautiful as a turquoise green. You're gonna obviously wanna paint the sides today. But while that's wet, you can either let it soak in, or if you like it a little less painty so that you can see the grain. And that's me. Sometimes when I teach the porch leaners, the gals really want to paint it and paint it and paint it and not see the grain. No judging. I just personally prefer to be able to see the grain. So, and don't you think that's beautiful? And doesn't it look like I used some fancy stain on it? I did not. A little bit of water, a little bit of paint. It works great. So it's pretty much dry. And I'm gonna use some white, some Deco Art white to block out. Just keeping it real. That's how I paint at home. To block out, oh goodness, it's flaky. It's a great paint. Obviously this is operator error. To block out the sunflower. Just start with a circle, a little off center. If you wanted to, you could put it up in the corner and spread it out. So we're doing these charcuterie boards for our ladies art box this month with handles, and they're super cute. But I thought maybe some of you might like to see how we're doing it, and if you have the supplies at home, by all means, go for it. Obviously, if you wanted to join the group, you could. So how simple was that? A circle and rabbit ears. We all know how to make rabbit ears. They're a frown and a smile connected. Some of you are freaking out because I'm painting on my hand right now. All right, I'm just gonna quickly go ahead and give this a prime. And it's the Maiden Voyage on my Michaels round paintbrush. So if you're on, go ahead and tell me where you're from. We had our studio in Maple Valley, Washington, and we are new to the Spokane area, Spokane Valley to be precise. So let me go ahead and hit comment so I can see all of your comments. So it's all, just like all of the acrylic painting we teach you, it's all about layers, one layer at a time. So it is the witching hour here, and that used to mean, hey, I'm trying to make dinner and my kids are being crazy. But now what it means is my husband went to the store so we can make dinner, And he's going to call me 50 times because you guys all know Sensei. Just gonna wipe that up. Just acrylic paint, guys. It's not rocket science. I hope you love this painting. It's just so much fun. And I have some words I printed up. Simply blessed. I know it's backwards, sorry. You can kind of decide what size you want to use. Oh, Lori. Lori's from Contanning. That one's a hard one to say. You sound it out and you're like, But you guys all know we're from where the groundhog sees its shadow, next town over. So yeah, that's my cousin. Hi, Lori. Say hi to everyone. Trying to get her to come out west. So Lori likes to paint with oil colors. This is a totally different monster. Painting with acrylics. They dry super fast, which allows you to, oh, that's a big boy right there in the corner. That's a ginormous one. So let me just take the pressure off by making a couple of them a little bit bigger. Acrylic paint dries super fast, and it's like 90 something out today, so colors we're going to use 3 shades of yellow. Why? I don't know. Should we put some green leaves behind? Or maybe just a second row of leaves? Maybe I'm going to make them maybe green. So we're just blocking them out a little bit. So tell me your favorite flower if you guys are watching. My youngest daughter does not like sunflowers because my oldest daughter does. That's sibling rivalry for you. And I love peonies. I love just plain old daisies. So now I'm going to go ahead and start on my center because it's just going to be a darker brown anyway. So with my dark brown, I'm going to make about the same color that I used on the wood. Remember, this isn't a stain. It's just plain old paint. And the first coat's going to be a little whitish. I'm painting wet on wet. And it's fine. It's 95 today. It's going to dry. And I got a notification that it's also going to be low humidity. Really? Okay, so I have 3 different yellows. The reason why is primary yellow. The flower gets incredibly bright, and I don't mind that. But some people really like a more earthy sunflower, something that has some like spice shades. So if you were to open up your spice cabinet, some of the browner spices. Okay, this one needs shaken. Now that we're here, but my staff is still in Maple Valley, they use all the paint, and sometimes mine gets a little bit funky because I don't use it fast enough. I miss you guys. Okay, so the first coat, it's just gonna mix with the white, so it's a wet on wet technique. So I'm just going to double load my paintbrush. Fancy term for, hey, I stuck my paintbrush in more than one paint at a time. So I'm gonna I'll choose the raw sienna and the deep yellow. And I'm going to start going to town on our really fun sunflower. If it's too spicy color, more earthy, I can brighten the tint. I can add this bright yellow and it'll just pop. Everyone's just a little bit different. I'm gonna ask you guys, do you think we should do the bigger lettering so it drapes over the flower a little bit, or the smaller lettering? So the bigger lettering or the smaller? And you could even do it at an angle. That'd be super cute. We have, for our art boxes, we have really cute handles for these. They're just real small. But of course, I couldn't find it when it was time to start shooting. And after I paint these, I'll put a little curly Q. I really like to make my flowers really whimsical. And if you don't like flowers, just move on along. You don't need to watch tonight's painting. Like I said, we're doing this for our monthly art box or bi-monthly art box for adults. But I thought, oh, so many of you really liked the big one that I showed you that I thought, let's see, you know, if any of you guys like this or not. And if you have the supplies at home or if you're handy, you can just whip one of these out. And maybe use a different flower. And I'm just dipping double, it's called double loading. Fancy term from dipping in two colors, the deep yellow and the raw sienna, which looks like your baby had an accident in its diapers. This is exactly what the kids call it at the studio. Really coming along though. And then I always recommend that you change your point of view and twist your work around. It's just easier on your body than twisting your body around. So can you believe it? Mr. Sean is graduating. He actually finished his high school classes a couple months ago. He's just finishing up his college classes for his AA. So many of your kids are taking advantage of that program, and it's just, it saves so much money. He's not happy. But I'm like, you gotta finish. That way he has his AA and he can move on. But I can't believe it, you guys. My baby boy is graduating. And so we'll be back in Maple Valley for that. So if you're just coming on, tell me where you're watching from. We have some Pennsylvania. I know it's dinner time some places where some of you guys are watching, and we eat kind of late. I think it's the heat. And remember, I wanted to make these ones kind of green. So I'm gonna pull out my sap green, I think, and add some yellow to it. Oh, of course not. Here we go. So you guys know I'm a potter, so I have all my potter's needles sticking around town here. I'm super excited to get back to pottery classes, teaching them at least in fall. I don't know how to send you kits. It just doesn't work. All right, so let's see. This is sap green. Gonna add a little bit of white for coverage. I'm gonna start with that. I'm a visual person. Sometimes I have to see what I'm looking at. And I shouldn't be able to see the whole leaf, so I'm gonna have to fix that. It should be just tucked in there. So I'll fix that next go around. Once again, all about layers. It looks pretty plain Jane now, but when I get the gold and copper in there, it's just going to pop. Hey guys, thanks for watching. So I'm gonna go back into my middle, and I'm gonna gently add my dark brown that I made up. And it's starting to dry. It's almost dry. So what am I painting on? I am just painting on a piece of pine. It's 11 by 14 roughly. Hey Rachel. So glad you're watching. I'm assuming because we're having hot weather, you are too. So, and then I had John cut it so that it would definitely fit in the art box. You could go a little bigger, but you know what that means. It means you have to spend a lot more money filling it up with meats and cheeses and pickles and peanuts. Yum. But you know what I saw on Pinterest? Some people were using bigger boards to put like a breakfast platter on it, like a pancake board. A pancake board. Brilliant. Love it. So let me check my lettering real quick. What do you think? The bigger lettering where it's going to drape over the flower a little, or the smaller one, which I could cut that because we're visual people. I can't believe the kids are going to be out of school. Sean will be done. So I asked him today, I said, so are you going to register for classes right away or take a little break? Pause. I don't think he wants to tell me that he's kind of fried right now. So little words, simply blessed, or a large one. I kind of into the large one. What do you guys think? The bigger lettering? Yeah, I think so too. I like the bigger one too. More is better. And you don't have to have a fancy $300 Cricut machine because some of us can't get them to work. Anyway, I'll show you what to do instead. So just holding that up real quick. Got the base coat. It's called the underpainting in the art world, right? Because they just can't say I put that first layer on there. And I'm going to decide, do I like this color or do I want to brighten it up? And we can all kind of just decide. Oh, Diane likes the little. Of course, we're going to have a throwdown of who likes the bigger and who likes the little. Recommending that you guys paint the sides. You don't want to leave them bare. And remember, I just used paint, watered down paint, and I didn't use a stain. I'm a true believer of finding what works for you. You'll want to seal this if you're going to be putting meats and cheeses on it. Number one, because you're not going to die from acrylic transfer. But, you know, it could affect your meats, but your meats could affect the board is really what's going to happen, the oils from that. So you'll definitely want to put a nice bee polish on there, something that's edible. I think on that charcuterie board, I got a really big bottle of something that's going to take me 800 years to use. Okay, so do we want to brighten this up? Maybe a little bit. So I'm going to double load my bright yellow and my deep yellow. Let's see what we get. Ooh. And I also said I needed to fix this leaf. It should be tucked behind. There we go. So I did really like the earthy sunflower look, but Mama likes a little bling. I do like how it's shaping up. If you're gonna make one of these at home, you know, hit the hairdryer. I'm trying to do it live, so I'm not hitting the hairdryer like I probably should. But I love painting on wood. It's one of the things I really love doing. See how I'm trying to turn my body instead of just turning the wood? Oh, I do. I really love it. I love how it glides. After that first coat, it kind of glides. I love how it looks in a couple days when the paint has cured. I like going a little heavier on the board. And you know what would be really pretty? I don't know what your color is, but if your color was pink, if you're a pink person, you could do a pink sunflower or a purple one, and your words could be like girls night out. Just go on to any Word document, or even they have free font websites, and then, you know, you don't have to purchase anything. And then you can type out whatever you want. And if you, of course, have a handy dandy Cricut and you're really, really good at that, you can just hit a button and have a stencil. If you're like me and you have the machine, but it doesn't like you, I'm missing those girls at AR Workshop in Maple Valley. They're wonderful ladies. And what they do is, you know, stenciling on wood. This is just taking it one step further. We're painting and then stenciling. Which, you know, I've gone there. I love the ladies so much. I just, personally, I get a little, you know, bored, but it's a great date night for me and my husband. It's his speed, you know, just picking out. And so you just go in and you pick out what you want. And, you know, they make your dreams come true. Well, that's because they know how to run their Cricut machine. I don't. So I'm not going to worry about my awkward lines. So artist, my machine. Rachel, I know. I know. I can't. And so far, I've tried it 3 or 4 times. And if they would take it back, I'd probably send it back. And it's just, mine's just not cutting deep enough. And I'm sure there's a fix, but I'm too impatient. You guys know that. It's looking really simple, but it's really pretty. And so while it's wet, I like to put the metallics in. You guys, I love a little bling. So I gave Miss Giselle, when we dropped everything, all our supplies off in Maple Valley, I gave her both of my bottles of copper. So I was digging around, gotta have some copper. And I found my Liquitex inks, same thing. It's just a really vibrant, copper. That's gonna be waste. And then all I'm gonna do is highlight. And it just, metallics don't show up well until they're dry. And it's just gonna add a little layer of gorgeous bling to our charcuterie board. And maybe I'll put more. It's like the brownies. Gotta have some more. Okay, I got a little bit of that copper here. And it's a waterier product. More watery. Stay in school. It's a product that has more water in it. There we go. But when it dries, it's pretty awesome. Why do I have them? Well, when we had the studio, we taught a lot of adult acrylic classes in the fall and winter. Because let's face it, moms and dads are too busy to take classes for themselves over the summer. Kind of liking all the streaks. My grandma Toot always said if you had to ask yourself if you need more, that's a good time to stop. And so I like to stop when I'm like, do I need some more? Do I need some more? You can always add more, guys. It's a good time to stop. Listen to yourself. So I like to take, so that was my grandma Toot. She's a saying, and I use it for everything. If you think you need more perfume, you probably should stop. If you think you need more angel food cake because it's fat-free, you probably should stop. All right, let's get some black out. I love to use, where in the world is it? My, did I put it up here? Yes, I put something away for change. I love to use my golden acrylics, fluid acrylics, for detail work, for trees. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous paint. And once you use it, you don't want to, you just don't want to use anything else. So you have to kind of temper it. Took me forever to try it, but okay. So I'm just going to place my paintbrush along the sides to cover up that awkward edge. One coat with the fluid acrylics is all you're gonna need. And I'm just letting the paintbrush do all the work for me. It's pointy, so when I press, it gives you a perfect little petal or seed. And every artist struggles with, what do you do when you have your awkward lines meeting? Well, the perfect solution is just cover the puppy up. If you're just joining, we are painting a sunflower charcuterie board. that has a cute little message that says, that reads, because the message doesn't speak. It reads, "Simply blessed." And I think that saying just speaks to so many of us. What a better time to think about your blessings than when you're sitting down to a nice charcuterie board. Yum, I actually had one last night. Okay, the inside on my sunflower is kind of dull. What I like to do is just hot mess it up. So I'm gonna take my older round brush and I'm just gonna start hot messing it up. Trying to be careful of my seeds. So that's copper. This is gold. Just kind of putting a lot of colors in. Let's go in with that raw sienna, otherwise known as, yeah, I'm not gonna talk about that. You could add a little white if you wanted to, but I find that it really, if you use too much white, it kind of washes everything out. You know what color I love to use inside is teal. Oh my gosh, Tamara just sent me a message. I haven't seen you in 6 years. Whoopsie. Ta-da. Oh my gosh, you guys see how that teal just kind of pops in there? And then if you find that it's too messy, I just like to take my finger and go in and kind of blend it just a little bit by popping. I'm just lifting my finger up. But I don't mind playing with my art at all. As my mom says, it figures you found a way to make a living getting dirty every day. I hope you guys all love your job as much as I do. Okay, so let's give, so the flowers, the flower petals, sorry, are still drying. And the leaves are ready for another coat. I really like what color they ended up being. And so I'm just gonna do the same thing where I take my sap green, my yellow, gonna loosely mix it, and a little white. Wow, that's a lot of wasted white, huh guys? I'm gonna carefully try not to ruin my positioning of my petal. So I free-handed my flower just because I do them all the time. But you could just use chalk first or draw it on a piece of paper and cut it out and have a tracer. Not a problem. You know, image transfer has happened since the beginning of time. It's not cheating, it's fine. So let's see. I need a little bit of action happening at the front and I want to outline my leaves. And hold on a second, I killed this paintbrush. So if you kill your paintbrushes, just soak them in Murphy's oil soap. That's not a throwaway. Everybody has Murphy's oil soap. It's so cheap. So now I need a new round brush. Here we go. Oh, that's not round at all. I got foiled there. Ta-da. Okay, I like to spin it, make it round. Okay, I'm gonna come in with my burnt sienna. So it's that cinnamon looking color because whoever made it just couldn't come up with cinnamon. They had to call it something completely hard to remember. And we're gonna put some of those, are they pestles? Oh, pay attention in biology class, lady. The little texture lines that are real close to the inside, to the seeds. I can't think what they're called. Maybe you guys are paying attention. And I'm just gonna outline it. So this is going to be in our bi-monthly box for our boxes for our ladies. And I say ladies because that's who has been purchasing them. So far, they have been such a fun thing to curate. Curate's also another word. Guys, are you sick of that word, curate? Let's keep it real. I came up with these designs and I put them all together for you. So we have to use these big fancy words now. So I could outline with black, but I chose to use cinnamon, also called burnt sienna. And I don't think I'm gonna outline my green leaves. I like them just the way they are. Other than, I think I'm gonna put some yellow highlights and some white highlights in them. And if you think that that's too bright, if it's too obnoxious, just take your finger and soften them a little. It's looking good. I wish I could have put a couple more leaves behind. That's just a personal preference. I'm gonna go ahead and put some whoop-de-woos in there. What's a whoop-de-woo? Well, it's a little line of paint that goes whoop-de-woo. So I'm gonna start here. So like a little vine. And I like to commit the whole way. Then if I have to come back and touch up, I can. But if you run out of paint here and you go back and dip in, it just doesn't have that same look. And make sure you water your paint down. Your paint, when you're painting with acrylic, should look like thick milk and not like sour cream. Let's do this too. Whoop-de-woo. So I ran out. And I just want to thicken them up, the vine up a little bit where it's popping out because it's older here. Should be a little fatter. You can put more if you wanted to. I'm going to follow the Grandma Toot rule, which, hey Beth, how are you doing? The Grandma Toot rule, which is if you need more, or if you have to ask yourself if you need more, you know, maybe you should wait. Since I have some teal, I'm going to put some teal in my leaves too. Gotta love that teal. Kind of all coming together. Now I did notice, I was thinking that I was using chalk, but I didn't. I used paint. So if you're just joining us, tell me where you're from. What we're doing is demonstrating the charcuterie board that's in our adult box this month. It comes with little handles, but I'll be darned, I could not find them at all. Super cute handles. Perfect for 2 or 3 people, I think. It just depends how much you put on there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you what you can do. I have the smaller Simply Blessed, and I have the bigger one, and I think we've all decided we really like the bigger one. And then I'm trying to decide if I'm just gonna go straight on or kind of angled. I think I like it kind of angled. What do you guys think? Angled or straight on? Straight on or angled? It's hard because I'm in selfie mode and I'm sure that you can't quite see because the word is backwards. But the handles will go right here and they're a single hole. They're kind of like a little T and you use your 2 fingers to pick them up. Unless you really loaded down your charcuterie board, I think you're gonna be okay. I'm thinking I like that. So a couple different things. You could do the old grade school where you take white chalk and just coat the back. I like it angled too, Rachel. So when you, hold on, booby trapped. So you can do the white chalk on the back and then just use a pencil. I really happen to like, they're from Amazon. They're white transfer paper. It's really, they're not like graphite at all, and they don't smear. To me, they don't smear at all. They're kind of a really waxy buildup. You get like 100 of these sheets for $9. If you want one, just tell me. I'll happy mail you some because I have more than I'll ever need. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this down. I'm going to use my white here in a second. So I wanted a little bit more. My S is off the board. So make sure that the shiny side is down. Once again, if you have a Cricut, you of course can make yourself what do you call it? A stencil. I can't figure out how to make mine work. So I'm just gonna go around my letters. It's kind of tedious. And if you were doing this with kids, you'd totally lose them at this point. But I think if you were doing this with kids, they would really love the wonder of the chalk behind the paper, because I don't know that teachers have time to teach them the cool stuff, you know, all the cool stuff that we did when we were little kids. Now the grain obviously is going to give you a couple bumps. But quite frankly, if you were using a stencil, you'd have bleed out anyway, most likely. Let's face it, stenciling is not a perfect art form, and that's okay. Art is rarely perfect. Oh my gosh, have you been to my studio? Art is not perfect at all. So this video will be up. You can watch it if you want. Help yourself, share it, sprinkle the love. Let's see how we're doing. You can see it's looking pretty good. And then we just have block letters here. That took me no time at all. So if you want me to send this to you, just, what's that? Oh, that's the copper. You could write in here like tracer, and then I would find your email and send you the tracer, or I'd talk to you. I'm just gonna put that copper back. You of course would have yours would be completely dry before you did this step. All right, so I prefer my white. I prefer a really good white, and Golden Fluid Acrylic has a white you have to use one time, guys. And this little bottle will last you years, and it's $8 at Michael's. Use your coupon. So if you want me to send you the tracer, just write tracer in here and I'll reach out. I'll message you, or you could message me, and I'll send it to your email. Okay, so let's get started. You guys, I want to do a close-up. You guys can see that, right? Came out great. So all you want to do is just follow your outline and then fill in. Some of you guys have been taking like calligraphy classes. I don't know, what have you been doing with your downtime? Me and my husband tried that dance, that the couples dance where you grab your hand and you twirl around, and it was all over Facebook when COVID first happened, and he's been begging me, oh please, let's keep going. But I gotta tell you, they were great and they were fun, but obviously they were just starting out. They didn't have like a platform, so you didn't have an account. So if you lost the email that told you how to get into the class, you're kind of hooped, you're kind of screwed. And that's what happened to me. So every time John asks, oh my gosh, when is that class happening again? When can we take and move it to, we're on step 1. Okay, it took us 5 times with step 1. And I just kind of and let it go, because he doesn't get how I would lose an email like that, I guess. Because, you know, his life is all about the computers. Okay, it's coming out so great. And you guys can see, it looks like we stenciled it. Stenciling is awesome and it's completely fun. But sometimes it's just not handy to have, you know, you have to do it yourself. So if I didn't want to do myself, I think they have this one, Essential Stencils. And they're based out of Texas, I believe, and they're fabulous, reusable, and I love that they're reusable stencils. And if you use my discount code ClayArts10, you get 10% off. I just love them so much. I love that they take the hard work out of stenciling for me, and I can just order what I want and reuse it for party after party or save it again for next year. I don't have to worry about waste. I don't have to worry about the machine, the machine that hates me. Oops. But just go to Essential Stencils and type in, when you check out, type in ClayArts10 and you will get a discount, 10%. I don't think Texas has tax either, do they? So you don't want to rush this part. This is the part I kind of want to rush. Obviously, if you used a smaller paintbrush, you would have a lot more delicate lettering. That golden fluid acrylic, one coat, man. I know this is backwards. What are we making? If you're just joining us, we're making a Simply Blessed sunflower charcuterie board. You just want to take a second, you know, and definitely, I'm going to use my finger. Sorry, Mama. Using my finger. Just going to use your finger, and I'm going to just do my sides with the dark brown. Why? Because it just, this rough board eats up your paintbrushes. If I had a, oh, here's one. This one's going to die for a just cause. Film brushes don't really love to do much of anything. Kind of like chalkboard and fingernails right about now. Let's water that down a little bit. Help the paint get in there. Okay, so you're gonna let it dry. And at that point, you could decide if you want to do any more. Like right away, I'm seeing some dots. Let's make this fantastic. Let's bling it up a little bit. It just helps, you know, kind of brighten up some of the area. And so you want to come back to it and see, is there anything you need to do? Did you forget to do anything? How's it look? Do I want it brighter? Do I want it more outlined? Do I want to use a black outline? You kind of get it. So I would then seal it tomorrow. I would seal it, and then I would use my screwdriver. And when I say me, I mean my husband, John, would use a screwdriver and drill some holes. Well, I guess he'd use a drill. Drill a hole, and we would put in the T handle. And it just looks like a T. It's 2 inches long, so about the size of these two joints. And it'd be perfect for, you know, walking around and putting it on your table. And I hope you liked this board as much as I liked painting it. So let me just say goodbye real quick. Sorry, my studio is still a mess. So I'm Kelly Sue with Cleopatra Art Studios, and we teach kids and families how to paint and create together. And this is demonstrating our charcuterie board that's going into our bi-monthly art box for adults. I hope you liked it. And if you don't belong to our club, try this anyway. I think you'll like it. Good night. Bye.